the home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Man, I tell you what, man, seriously, I try to get away from all the drama and all the wet diapers and skittle shitters out there in LA, and they just keep making themselves a part of the news. They just can't keep their mouth shut. They can't quit making up narratives that don't exist. Like Caleb Williams, for example. Seems like he's taking on the mindset of his diaper wetting coach, old Tebow, you know, the bitch out west, aka Linky Boy, Lincoln Riley, and his little protege, Caleb Williams, running his little mealy mouth, talking about someone said a bad thing on the internet about me. Let's talk about it. Well, here we are again. It's another episode of the OCF. That's me, the outlaw of college football, also known as JPC. In today's class, we're going to talk about how not to lose your freaking noodle on the internet. You see, Caleb Williams made a little comment the other day that my producer, Jonathan Lewis, forwarded to me. Thank you, Jonathan Lewis, for that. Also, check his podcast out, CFB with John Lewis. But before I get into all this, I'd like to ask you to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Because that's what keeps me up and motivated for all you YouTubers out there. Now, getting right to it. I don't get it, man. And nobody's saying anything. I had shut up. A lot of people had shut up. It had quailed down. But I guess Linky Boy saw that, and maybe he told Caleb, you know, hey, man, we need to get this shit stirred back up, because that's the only way we can get attention out here in Skittle Shitterland. And sure enough, Caleb Williams makes a comment on Twitter saying that people like 247Sports are just using my name and my skittle shitting coach to get clicks. Well, guess what? If you're gonna do that, stop writing about me, and I don't need your attention. Really? Then why'd you make the freaking post, man? You knew that when you made that comment, put that out on Twitter, that people are gonna be on here grilling the living hell out of you. And sure enough, that's what they're doing, because that's what I'm doing right now. I got the fire stoked and the charcoal burning just for you, old Caleb boy. You want to take some of the heat off of your shady ass coach? Well then, hey, that's fine. We'll give some of the shade to you. Because if you're going to be like that, man, just because someone gives you a few critical comments, if you want to be famous, that's what I don't like about a lot of these athletes, man. They want all that fame and glory, but they don't want the bad that goes with the good. If you want the good, you're going to have to put up with the bad, man. What are you going to do when you get in one of these big-time NFL markets like Philadelphia or Chicago or New York? Well, they're not so kind. You're going to be sitting on the sidelines and you're going to have a meltdown. You're going to lose your bowels, just like Vince Young did. Vince Young, I mean, he had one of the greatest college careers of all time at Texas. Had one of the greatest games of all time in the national championship game against USC. One of the greatest games I ever watched. But the guy had a mindset of a 3-year-old, and he couldn't take a little criticism. And when he got in the NFL, it really started showing. Now, Caleb Williams, you haven't really had a full season of college football yet, and already you're crying and wetting your diapers. So what you going to have to do, man, You're going to have to sit down with somebody, not Lincoln Riley, because obviously he's taught you this mindset. You need to sit down with a psychiatrist or somebody out there that's unbiased and tell them how you feel. And tell them what you're thinking about putting on the internet next time before you do it. Because what you did basically was right the opposite of what you wanted. The effect that you're going to get from this post is going to be so negative that it's going to probably continue all the way through the summer and until the kickoff. And now you've put yourself behind the 8 ball, because if you have just one bad game, those people that you've now antagonized, like me, like 247Sports, they're going to get on here and they're going to be unmerciful. And you're going to find out what real stress is. These little comments on the internet, that's not real stress, man. Now, I know your daddy and Lincoln Riley have coddled you, and y'all put on that little trick and pony show there for a little while, act like you're going to go somewhere else. Well, all the time, you knew you was going to USC. That's the shadiness I speak of. And if you don't like people calling you out on the fact that you drug your feet and you really wasn't planning on going anywhere else, then don't do that kind of shit. You know, if you don't act shady and you don't do something to be criticized for, normally you don't get criticized, man. Now, sir, there's some times where fans are unfair and they criticize these athletes for no reason. That does happen, but for the most part, I'd say 75 to 80% of the time, you had it coming. So, in the future, don't jump on Twitter and get on there and tell people what they can and can't say. That's not how it works, man. I mean, that's the way a lot of these censoring liberals will act. Let me preface this again, once again by saying, because I know someone's going to get on here raising hell. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just an unbiased American. And I'm of the American Party. But these censoring-ass liberals, maybe you've took a cue from them and you think that you can just tell people what they can say and what they can't say, but you can't. Once you get on the internet, once you put yourself out there on Twitter, it's out there forever. Even if you delete it, people are going to screenshot the hell out of it, and it's going to be out there. So, get some good advice, get some unbiased outside advice outside of the USC administration, outside Lincoln Riley, and figure out what you want to do going forward to help yourself mentally. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, when you get a little further into your college career, you may not even make it to the NFL the way you're acting now. But if you do get to the NFL, my prediction is you're going to have a mental breakdown just like Vince Young. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.